Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Mary of Creating with Mary. Thank you for joining me today. If you're new on this channel, you're welcome. My name is Mary Ogunbala. I'm the content creator at Creating with Mary. Sometimes back, if a contact on Facebook shared a message about parenting, and he's a guy, and he's saying apparently he was separated from his wife and he has custody of the children. I don't know the full story about that separation. What I do know is that he shared this message and he was talking about ensuring if a parent has custody of the children or child, they should ensure or try to ensure that the other parent is involved in the life of the children or the child. He mentioned about his previous spouse having daddy issues, and that usually affects their relationship with their partners. And so a lot of them tend to concentrate on the hurt and the reason for the separation from the partner, and prevent the children or the child from seeing the dad. So there were a lot of different opinions and perspective on that topic, on that issue, and I'm waiting on it, seeing that I kind of identify a little bit with some of what was said, in the sense that when you mentioned the daddy issues, I recognized that I had daddy issues. So yes, I had daddy issues, and I was able to identify it in my life and in the pattern of the relationships that I had growing up. So my father, very intelligent man, very intelligent, intelligent, was educated up to standard 6. He used to talk about standard 6 to us, which is the equivalent of secondary school, the quality of the education they got was quite robust. So he could write, and he was always engaging his dictionary, checking spelling, checking meanings, and so he was quite educated. It's an educated man, I would say. But my mom, on the other hand, was not educated in school. So she had informal education, and she knew basic things. She could not write in English, but she could speak in English a little bit. She could speak, but she couldn't write in English. She doesn't know English, that in the sense of communicating and writing. She desired to, but she never had the opportunity. She had to give up her opportunity to education to enable her younger siblings get an education. What a sacrifice she gave. I remember when adult education was being introduced in the Catholic Church where we attended, she made efforts. She made efforts to go, and she would bring back these little sentences which she was picking up, and she would call me, I'll come and explain this, come and explain that. And so she picked up a little bit of that. Unfortunately, she's no more with us. Her memory is forever blessed in my heart. She's the queen of my heart. The queen, when you talk about queen of my heart, she remains a queen, a standard in my heart. And I can never forget her. Never. I try to tell my children of her. I wish she was here to see them and touch them and hold them and care for them. Anyway, so I go back to the daddy issues. My father, educated as he was, and he had a good job. He worked with Nitel, the communication company owned by Nigerian government. Back then, it was reasonably employed. He was a civil servant, and we moved quite a bit. My family moved quite a bit because it was posted here and there. So I didn't experience that movement. My siblings did, the older siblings, so they moved quite a bit. But his final settlement was in Kwara State, where I was born. And we were 8 children, and the last of the 8 children. Though we had other relatives that grew up with us, making 10 kids that my parents had to take care of while I was growing up. While I was growing up, my older ones, because I'm the last of 8, I mean, look at that distance. About 3 of them, 3 of my elder siblings had already left the house. So I didn't really develop as much closeness with those siblings as those that were closer to me in age, and I could see them around in the house. So, talking about daddy issues, my father was present in the house. Let me quickly talk about him in more detail. My father was an alcoholic. And I didn't mean someone who drinks and then, someone who drinks and then fall into the ditch because he was overdrunk. This is my father. And that happens quite often. He was an alcoholic, and he tended to use a lot of his money. He was earning well, but my family suffered a bit because my father didn't really care about his family. He didn't care about his family. He spent most of his money on himself, drinking. And of course, with drinking, we come with many. I didn't know of his escapades, but I would suspect he had women that he spent some money on. So he never really cared so much about school fees, about clothing. Occasionally, I think he just give it. So he wasn't even so much interested in our education. As educated as he wasn't even interested in checking our. I think he was brilliant, an intelligent man, and I think my siblings and my mom too, they were both a combination of, my mom though wasn't educated, was intelligent, was brilliant, so we took some of those characters. I was an intelligent kid, very brilliant in school. I was always top of my class. My primary, secondary school, similar thing. And I won an award in my secondary school for best in chemistry, best in mathematics. I had several prizes that I brought back home on prize giving day. Also with my mom, they were together in the home. He was present in the home, but he was absent in our lives. Is that what you call an absentee father? Maybe some would say absentee fathers are absent physically, but I would say absentee fathers are more absent emotionally in connection than even physically. So I don't really know if having him present in our lives did much good, because he was literally absent in most of my memories. I don't recollect sharing activities with him or doing things with him. And later in life, this was going to have an impact in my life that I didn't understand. It was after I was more matured and I was able to start reflecting on my life that I started seeing that this could have been some source of my problem, my father. My relationship issues may be as a result of my lack of attachment and connection, loving and secure connection with my father. Of course, my mom was present, But there's a role of a woman in the life of children, and there's a role that the father plays that is very distinct from what the mother plays. So as much as there has to be that balance in the life of a child to ensure the healthy outlook on relationship, on attachments for children. So this lacked for me. This was lacking. It lacked. And it affected my relationship. When I was growing up as a young girl, I was always looking at going into a relationship with older guys. And why was it? Because I thought, oh, they would be able to give me some of those attachments like my father. They would be wiser. They would be able to cover up for my father's lapses. I was wrong. It's not about the age. These are unconscious impulses that you begin to make because something has registered in your mind as growing up without the father figure, without the father's attachment, without that loving and secure connection that daughters have with their fathers. And not just me, my siblings had the same issues, you know. But thankfully the story is different now. But I wanted to just make sure that people can understand when these kind of things happen in their life, when you have relationship, when you're going into a relationship that tend to like have similarities with what you've experienced in your past, in your own home, in your parents' home growing up. And sometimes the way to correcting them is to reflect back, try to go over your past and identify those issues in your past. You must be able to do that for you to heal, for you to correct them, for you to overcome those cycles. Because they're circles, they keep happening. You keep having relationships that, you know, that lack trust, that lack intimacy, that lack emotional connection because you've had the failure of the father connection, that male connection. And it's not just, daddy issues is not just it doesn't just affect women, girls. In as much as it affects girls, it also affects boys. So you see some men that had absent fathers in their lives, they tend to be aggressive. They tend to overcompensate for that lack by being macho, by being overly aggressive in approach to a relationship or to any issues. And they tend to be insecure with their own masculinity.